What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. We're here again for another video, and yes, this is going to be about Trump as well. Apparently, he's throwing out shit about getting rid of FEMA. Yeah, yeah, that FEMA. And also, uh, conditioning aid to California for the fire victims because he can, I guess. I mean, what? So yeah, we're going to talk about all that. And if you like, man, please consider subscribing, like, share, comment, all that. Yeah, all that good stuff. If you like the content that I'm putting out here on the channel, um, any help, yeah, is much appreciated. Check out my other channels and stuff. JMDPLAY. I'm all over the place right now. I'm telling you. Discord there, one-time donations, or JMD Nation Patreon, $3 a month. Already said it, but support. Thank you very much. Anything you do, you're awesome, freaking awesome, awesome. All right. So apparently today, Trump was making a little field trip to disaster areas. First, going to North Carolina, or at least I know he went to North Carolina, and then he eventually made his way over to California and to look at what's going on over there. So, first he shows in North Carolina and makes comments about cutting off FEMA, or getting rid of FEMA. He got into it. A DM lawmaker rips into Trump during his press conference. So apparently, and it seems like this may be. I don't know that this. I think this is really just afterwards, but appearing on MSNBC as Donald Trump was busy holding a press conference in North Carolina to talk about 4-month-old Hurricane Helene damage. A Democratic lawmaker expressed his disgust that the president made the appeal all about himself. As Trump spoke and introduced pre-selected locals from Swannanoa, North Carolina, who joined him in criticizing Biden and FEMA for the pace of ongoing recovery efforts. Representative Brandon Bull, Democrat from Pennsylvania, offered a counterpoint to host Andrea Mitchell. First, my heart breaks for that family who have been afflicted. I'm not sure using them as a political prop for an event for Donald Trump is really going to give them the help that they need. Bull then goes into his central complaint about the newly elected president, who made multiple comments about abolishing FEMA on Friday. We're talking about natural disasters. This is no place for politics. He shouldn't have the RNC head there. He shouldn't have the DNC there. He should have the professionals who are working in these very difficult circumstances to deliver aid to people and help them rebuild their homes and their lives. Unfortunately, with Donald Trump, everything is about him. He pointed out, even when he starts talking, the first thing he talked about was the fact that he won North Carolina 3 times. Who cares? This should be about the thousands of people who still need him. So yeah, that was a response from a representative from Pennsylvania on what happened. He apparently talked about, or Trump talked about abolishing FEMA, and talked about having the that it was better for the states to just handle the situations and for the federal government not to get involved, basically. That the states have the means and capabilities to handle disasters and whatnot, and so it should be on them. That they're more than capable of doing so. I guess that's why every time there's a natural disaster or something happens, the states are begging for monetary help and assistance um, through agencies and stuff that FEMA directly helps engage. I mean, that's exactly what it was created for, was because of the fact that the states don't always have, even some of the ones that have the most capital on hand, don't always have the ability to completely handle situations. They need the grander scale of assistance that the country's federal government can provide. Once again, we don't have no fucking problem at all sending all kinds of money to all these other places to fund wars and stuff, interest that we have, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's fucking Israel, or anywhere else. We have no problem with that. We have no problem with giving monies and giving subsidies and tax breaks and everything to the fucking rich and the corporations who have all this goddamn money. We don't have no problem fucking helping them out. No problem there. We can do what we want. But lo and behold, fucking regular people all across the country having to deal with natural disaster, something that's out of their hands. Eh, maybe we don't really, maybe we can. It's questionable whether we should even help them. I think they can just help themselves. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? We're telling all the states to just pick yourselves up by your bootstraps. Boy, I like to see all the Republican legislatures in all these Republican states, how they're going to react when FEMA's abolished and they have a natural disaster the first time. Holy shit. And then on top of that, he continues to go into conditioning, talking about conditioning aid uh, to California when asked from a reporter. And he continues to, and he goes into conditioning aid based on he wanted voter IDs in California, and he wanted water redistributed because they were not properly distributing water to LA. If they had, then they would have plenty of water, and there would be no they wouldn't have had problems with these fires. Blaming Gavin Newsom and the California government on why the fires got out of hand, because they didn't have enough water. Shit wasn't wet enough. I can't with this man. He's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot. Um, Donald Trump gets into clash with Democrats once he gets to LA. Donald Trump was caught in an intense exchange with California Congressman Brad Sherman as they discussed the LA fires. The president, highly critical of the blue state's disastrous response, said insurance were made impossible by people that think like you, and pointed out that many are reluctant to operate in California. In response, Sherman, the U.S. Representative of California 36th Congressional District, said, "People that think like me, Mr. President, I don't know what you know about my thinking." Trump's comments come after he took an aerial and walking tour of Pacific Palisades, a neighborhood destroyed by one of the recent fires. I've never seen a state where almost nobody has insurance, the president continued. And I said, what happened? And they said, like 6 months ago, they all left. And 2 years ago, they had different quadrants, but they left. And you have very little insurance here. I've never seen anything like it. He went on to claim to Sherman, you lost your insurance company 6 months ago because the state wouldn't give them what they had to have. Earlier, Trump said he was considering getting rid of FEMA, offering the highest sign of how he is weighing sweeping changes in the nation's central organization for responding to disasters. And then they forget the T here and say Rump was greeted in California. I first read that and I was like, Rump, what? Oh. Oh, Trump was greeted in California by Governor Gavin Newsom, a Trump critic whom the president frequently disparages. The duo chatted uh, a- a- amiably, and gestured toward, I didn't think I said that right, cooperation despite their bitter history. We're going to need your support. We're going to need your help, Newsom told Trump. You were there for us during COVID. I don't forget that. And I have all the expectations we'll be able to work together to get a speedy recovery. I'm assuming this was like, he said that maybe during like a press conference. Sounds like something that he would have done in front of cameras. I don't know. Newsom has praised Trump before when looking for help for the federal government. In the early months of the COVID pandemic, he called Trump thoughtful and collaborative. Trump flew over several devastating neighborhoods in Marine One, the presidential helicopter, before landing in Palisades, a hard hit community that's home to some Southern California's rich and famous. Um, accompanied by First Lady Melania Trump, he walked a street where all the houses were burned, chatting with residents and police officers. It takes seeing the damage firsthand to grasp its enormity, Trump said afterwards. The fires, which continue to burn, could end up being the costliest natural disaster in U.S. history. It's devastating. It's really an incineration, Trump said. Um, so yeah, he you know made arguments once you get there. Apparently, making arguments about the insurance stuff. So you've had State Farm being a major one, exiting from the state, not refusing to insure um, insure residents and stuff like majorly over the past 6 months, and it's been something that they've been doing little by little for the past 2 years, and it's mainly just wrapped around fire damage. Which we see this all the time. We see this everywhere, where a specific disaster um, happens in a specific area or is prone to happen, and insurance companies just decide to not. They come up with all these different reasons or all these different things that they want the state to provide or something, or want the state to do to try to mitigate or help, keep them from having to worry about paying out stuff. And, the states either can't handle it or it's absurd, requests. And the insurance companies they just don't cover it. Whether it be fires there, whether it be hurricane relief in Florida, or whether it be, whatever the case. In other states, they do this all over the place. Flood insurance, in certain places that are prone to floods. I mean, this is what they do. It's just the ridiculousness of our insurance companies, the callousness, is what they do. But I find it interesting. Just that I don't know. I didn't see the whole engagement if it was brought up any other way, as far as like the water and all this different stuff. The voter ID stuff is ridiculous. And they go into a little bit more right here with this video. Check this out.
It coming as he threatens to withhold aid in the wake of those destructive wildfires. Nearly 50,000 acres have burned from Los Angeles to San Diego, and red flag warnings are in the forecast for today. President Trump blames the state for not sending enough water into those cities, while Governor Gavin Newsom says the president is spreading misinformation.
That's like the gist of it. Something about a particular area, like there's some sort of, I don't know, a law or a regulation or something that's in place due to environmental protections, or something that will prevent bringing a particular source of water down to the Los Angeles area. I don't know the complete like details of it, but supposedly Trump expects that they should just completely, because which is something that him and his administration has been doing here so far, is completely, like looking over any kind of environmental protections, cutting all that out. We don't give a damn about environment. We don't care. Just do what you want with here and do what you want there and blah, blah, blah. And wants to force, the state to take source from that area and bring the water down there to give more water to the area, because they claim, because of something that went out about them running out of water at one point and trying to fight against the fires, the tanks ran out, and that's because they were having to use the water in a particular point. The fires got so bad that they couldn't fly water over the flames and drop them, because of weather, like the wind conditions and the fire and certain things were preventing them from being able to fly over for a certain period of time, over a certain amount of hours, a couple of days here and there, that they had to use direct water on the fire, and that wind up running through the water supply faster than what it would normally do. And so, and then of course, this, like, you have tower here, tower here, tower here, but what happens is you wind up with towers at certain elevations. They will empty first, while other towers then will, and it just kind of cascades from there. And when those towers get to filling up, though, we wind up with whatever source the highest tower actually services. Those people were out of water longer than the rest. I mean, it took longer for the water to pressure and water to get back to those areas, because it took longer for that one to fill up because it was a higher elevation. Things like that happened. So people for a little bit of time were out of water in certain areas. And this is, but like I said, it was because of an overuse of the system due to the fact that they couldn't fly water over. And Trump is arguing that, well, if you had this water down here, then you wouldn't run out of water and everything would be much wetter and blah, blah, blah. This wouldn't have happened. Constant blaming on, the government and Newsom and his administration, or running the state. Now, granted, maybe there could be some certain things that could be worked out a little bit better to help, a little bit here and a little bit there, but there's no way to control the conditions that are going on in LA, like to prevent them. This is due to conditions that are of nature and are out of our control. Extreme drought, along with the weather patterns and conditions that caused basically just the perfect storm, the perfect situation for something like this to happen. Winds rapidly flowing down through the mountainsides and valleys and stuff at tornado, hurricane force wind speeds. And it doesn't take much to cause or strike a fire because of that. I mean, you get winds that's strong enough that spark a electrical power line or something like that, and boom, fire, because the area is so dry in the drought. It doesn't take much, and then winds just carry that. I mean, there's so many different things that can happen. Um, and it's ultimately because of the conditions that our climate has gotten to, and what is going on. I mean, extreme climate conditions and stuff that do have ties back to the fact that the climate is changing. Period. We're seeing more and more extreme events, and it will continue to get worse. Now, is it something that we're going to start just seeing rapidly happen? Probably not, but it certainly is happening. We've had every year, I think, for the past 5 years at least, overall temperature averages increasing every year. It's not, it's happening, whether they want to, accept it or not. But to then turn around and say that you're not going to give aid to the state unless they provide conditionary things. And he was, this is right here. This is it.
Area is devastated by natural disasters. He arrived in Asheville, North Carolina this morning to survey recovery efforts from Hurricane Helene and is now headed to Los Angeles to tour the destruction caused by the wildfires there. While in Asheville, President Trump announced that he wants to get rid
Oh,
wow, this fan cave is sick.
Totally went for it in here.
of FEMA. He has been critical of the agency and the Biden administration's disaster response, and President Trump says that he would like state governments to address natural disasters instead of the federal government.
It's funny. He badmouths the Biden administration for bad policies or bad response through the FEMA agency. But his fix for that is to get rid of the agency. So you're arguing your response is better? Biden using FEMA to respond didn't use FEMA well enough and respond fast enough and efficiently enough for you, and your response to that to make the conditions better for your administration to do better in responding is to get rid of that agency. One, carry the 2 plus the. Am I missing something? Am I fucking missing something here? I'm. The math isn't mathing, right? Right? Am I wrong? Is the math? Does that make sense to you?
I'd like to see the states take care of disasters. Let the state take care of the tornadoes and the hurricanes and all of the other things that happen. And I think you're going to find it a lot less expensive. You'll do it for less than half, and you're going to get a lot quicker response. So that seems to be the recommendation, but we'll be making.
It's going to be a lot cheaper. He's worried about money. Is this something Elon came up with? Is this a part of Doge to get rid of FEMA? Is that what it is? I don't even know.
Making that recommendation over the next couple of weeks.
Well, in California, President Trump is expected to visit the Pacific Palisades neighborhood that was destroyed by wildfires. He will then have an emergency briefing with local officials.
That's not the video where he made the comments about bummer. I thought that was going to be it. But yeah, he then made comments about, you know, conditioning aid after that, for voter IDs and water. And if they do that, if the state of California will handle that, they will take care of those two requests, then we'll give them more help than they've ever gotten. We'll be completely open for business. This man's something else. So yeah, there you go. States, balls in your court. He thinks you can handle tornadoes, hurricanes, fires, floods, because it'll be cheaper for the federal government if you just handle it, you know? The response will be faster because, I mean, you're literally there. It takes so long for us to get there. I mean, what sense does that make for me to come all the way from Washington to you? I mean, it just takes so long. The FEMA is not for like immediate first aid type of response. It's more of a supportive aftermath response agency. I mean, yes, it can provide assistance, you know, to the first hand, your more state departments. Like Mississippi, we have MEMA, you know, and you have other states that have their own emergency response teams. This is already in place, true. But then FEMA adds to that aid on a more national standpoint, helping to bring in other, you know, agencies and other departments in surrounding states and whatnot, you know, depending upon the gauge at which response is needed for whatever the, you know, disaster is, how bad it is, what level of response is necessary. This is, there you go. It's all in your court states. He's gonna try to stop aiding you. But all them billionaire friends that were up there in that inauguration, I guarantee he's not gonna stop aiding them. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this. And till next time, peace. ClearTalk, I'm out.